And we are back for another episode of Triggering Chaos Presents Semi Perfect Bleach Episode 4. Uh, oh my god, we're going to be bleeding Bleach at the end of all of this. So, we are now on the. What was it? The Arankar invasion? Was it? Hueco Mundo. Okay. Oh my god, there's a lot here. In fact, I realized I have tabs doing this. I had to start a whole new window. Oh god, no. So let's just get right into it, ladies and gentlemen, because the sooner we get into it, the sooner I might be able to actually realize things.
So technically, last episode we kind of edged a little bit into the Hueco Mundo arc for the Iranka arc, and we're going to do that again. But that's just because it flows better. But technically, the Hueco Mundo arc starts in episode 152.
Mm-hmm. Now let's just get right into it, ladies and gentlemen, because there's a lot to go through, and we're still cutting out huge chunks of this.
Mm-hmm.
So let's just move
Both part,
on.
both parts we like, both parts we're meh.
Right. So first up, we're breaking in. There is no celery to this plan.
Nope.
So.
When you're going up against a chess master like Aizen, you just gotta smash your way through.
Mm-hmm.
So when they through Kisuke's portal, they arrive in Hueco in a fortress that most I believe Aizen built around where Karakura Town would be, or at least where Kisuke's shop should be relative to the positional of two dimensions.
Yeah, don't
Because
ask us how it fully works. We're just along for the ride at this point.
and what a right's gonna be.
So let's meet the locals.
We have Nell and
These guys. Nell's the
yeah,
little
well,
girl. Yeah, that is a girl. With the little skull like mask on her head that's broken.
yep,
That'll be important later.
yep.
But
Uh, these are basically her caretakers and best friends and our comic relief.
oh boy.
Yeah, I didn't find
So
them funny. So if you
uh,
like these two characters, this is the last time we're talking about them. Moving on
yeah. So guess who gets to rejoin the group
with
with
some
dashing
snazzy
capes?
folks. Yep. Yeah.
Welcome back,
After
guys. We know who these are. I'm not even going to go into the
yeah.
full.
Yeah. After Byakuya had brought them back to the Soul Slay as instructed, he let them go back. But first, make sure to take these nice warm cloaks wherever you're going.
Take the cloaks into the desert. It's gonna be cold at night.
And it's always night. But of course, you can't have rescue
So
party.
before we discuss him, just for one moment, there is a huge chunk of a story that's cut out, that we're cutting out for time's sake,
It
involving them
is,
trying to get into the inner sanctum.
yeah.
It's actually a nice piece. It's well written. I like the idea, but to the main plot,
hmm
we lose nothing, and we will talk about it when we do the filler arcs.
We will mention though that originally Kubo wanted this Menos Forest to be part of his original
Mm-hmm.
canon, but his editors cut it for time so he could get to the excluded part. So it's canon and not canon at the same time. So if you consider it canon, I also consider it canon.
I consider it canon, but I also do love the story. But at the same time, it's like I understand that we lose nothing by skipping it.
Yeah, it's like some of the better fluff.
Yeah, but this is chocolate. I'm not making that up.
So on their way in, the gang bumps into groups of enemies called the Prima Espada. These are the Espada before the newer, better generation came along. So these are the original elite stuck on the outside guard duty. And they're fairly tough, but they lead to some interesting fights. And this is the first one. Ichigo fights. He gets. And,
We learned Nell has a good ability that's very useful.
yep, if a Cereal's fired at her, she can eat it up
But
and, and fire it back.
yeah, just make sure to burp your child properly because that
So
does not look safe.
yeah, Nell's humor actually works fairly well. There's a few Grosso jokes with Nell that don't fly with me, but
Yeah, mostly at the end of this fight, but that's a different story altogether.
yeah,
So they really don't take him seriously at first.
no. God, I love the way faces are done with
I'm
bleach.
pretty sure eyes are supposed to jut out that far.
I think Nell's looking more at the ceiling than he is than at him.
I'm pretty sure she's just sick from not being birthed properly.
That's a possibility.
But yeah. So he goes after Nell because he's trying to get Ichigo to fight him seriously.
It works.
Yeah.
Also,
So
Nell has a dashing dark knight saber.
slight spoiler because we didn't have any. Like I said, we're saving time. Ichigo puts on his mask for a split second, and pretty much he beats him in one move.
Yeah,
So, but
yeah,
what are these two doing? Because they were with Ichigo.
yeah.
Well,
These
they're having
two,
fights of their own.
yeah, they've gained new powers, and reason why they don't help Ichigo is at one point during the invasion they come with the five doors and they split off into five directions.
Yeah.
So first we're gonna show off Chad's fight with Prima Spada. I don't remember his name, but this is the first real fisticuff fight.
I'm not sure, but I'm getting a real disco vibe here. I
Yeah,
can't
this is.
quite put it on there.
I'm gonna call him Disco Kid because I'm watching stuff from Punch Out. But yeah, this is Chad's first fisticuff fight with somebody, and it's really, really good actually.
Yeah, because he's actually hitting with a lot of force. He's actually enjoying this fight.
Yeah, and he's actually a more competent fighter, for
Hmm.
unfortunately for Chad's sake.
So
But
Chad decides to go a little heavy on this.
I also like his new arm, how it opens up and
Hmm.
spills
That's a
out energy.
very nice design, and it feels very unique for him, which is what they were
Hmm.
going for.
Yeah, but
But
it wouldn't be Chad if he didn't have an energy punch. Yeah,
I'm just gonna say it now. This looks a lot like Ichigo's gets potential when he's in his Shikai form.
I mean,
So
best friends can share attacks. Do
right,
not ask
that's
us.
totally what's going on here.
Do not ask us to name any of Chad's attacks because A, he unfortunately does them so rarely they don't get said enough for me to memorize, and B, my Spanish is non-existent.
I know Spanish pretty
Japanese,
well, but it's there's three things going on here. One, he rarely says them because he doesn't do it as often as the others.
exactly.
B, it's a pronunciation thing partially,
Hmm.
and C, I haven't done Spanish since high school.
I've never done Spanish, and I haven't done French since junior high, so
Yeah,
if we,
so I'm just really rusty on it.
yeah,
Oh, by the way, he's got a shield now.
yeah, his arm transforms in the middle of the fight,
By the way,
and
this does not look like a face or anything. Ignore that. Ignore that.
yeah,
This is not foreshadowing.
well, Chad would have to do something for me foreshadowing.
But
I really do enjoy this fight, and this leads to with Chad's arm transforming. It leads to one of my favorite lines for Chad. It's actually him asking the guy, "Did you slow down?" Because now Chad's gone from being basically getting his ass handed to him to able to block attacks. Not just that he has a shield he can block, he's able to get his arm in place in time to block.
mhm. His increased boost has upgraded his senses to the point where he's now caught up.
Mhm. But what it's really nice that unlike Ichigo, when he first went Bankai and got faster and tore himself apart, Chad has seems to have no problem going with his new speed.
Well, that's
He's
also
not.
the point that Chad is in better condition than when Ichigo did it too.
Mhm.
To be fair,
Also, he's not zipping around as fast as Ichigo is, obviously,
hmm
but he's still like
he's
he's doing.
perceiving things better than he is actually.
Mhm.
But he's
Well,
still
just
got
because,
to move his arm in this position, so he's still moving, but he's just not moving the same way Ichigo is.
yeah. But
So
remember that thing Soul kept talking about with Chad every single episode?
yeah, remember I said Chad's left-handed.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
I believe he refers to this arm as literally El Diablo.
the devil's arm. It's right.
Mm-hmm.
It's what I think the translation for that he uses was. But I think it's accurate.
It's a nice one punch. Yeah, that
Chad, the One Punch Man.
Chad, the one punch artist.
You know, I wish this would come up more
Yes, that would be very nice.
because that is actually very. I'm not.
It does show. It does show up in like non-canon stuff,
Yeah,
but not enough even there.
but you think this would come up in a Chad would question it because you think it would just break everything and not make a pattern in there.
Although the wall caves in after Sinclair.
I had a good point. Yeah, I do. I only remember certain spots as well as some of the other spots. So
Yeah.
Em remembers a lot better than I do.
Hmm.
So Uri is having a fun time.
Yeah, his new bow makes up for one of Soul's problems. And rather than firing one at a time, that's like 1,000 arrows or 10,000 shots at once. I forget the exact number. The guy
It's a
he's
lot.
fighting can the guy he's fighting can barely fire half as many Ryu is.
Yeah, but at least he's got cover fire now.
Yeah,
So, oh,
but he
by the way,
also has
someone became a Jedi.
yeah he also has some new gadgets that he borrowed from his father.
Yes, borrowed, air quotes.
To be fair, they are inheritance his eventually. These are called Stelle Snyders, I believe. My German is also non-existent.
I remember Steel Schneiders, but I might be remembering something else.
I might be mispronouncing. I must be misremembering. But basically, they're little energy swords. Actually, they're basically little energy chainsaw swords.
Mm-hmm.
So here's the Prima Spada he's fighting in her true form.
Now, just for a record, these are actually technically arrows.
Yep.
He's got four more right there on his belt, and he's got one right there. That makes five. Remember that
Mhm.
number. That's important.
But the reason why I describe them as energy chainsaws is they chip into something, vibrate, and then start. Well, go to the next image.
And like all good Quincy's,
It starts force stealing energy. So even if you have condensed your energy into a much tighter form, he can still cut into it and then absorb it.
so it's pretty much just drawing more from you and making himself more powerful.
Hmm. Which allows the arrow to be even stronger. He can then fire it and one shot you usually. If well,
Man,
either
Quincy's
works or
cheat a
doesn't.
lot.
It either works or doesn't work.
So while they're
But
dealing with that,
Rukia unfortunately runs into the number nine Espada. Adronidro, I believe his name is. It's very hard to pronounce, but
again, we don't know. We can barely pronounce our own names in English, so
yeah.
fuck this.
Instead, we're gonna call him not Shiba.
What do you mean, not Shiva?
Oh no, that's Kai and Shiba. Yeah, he's a Soul Reaper Rukia knows that we unfortunately didn't have time to talk about, but we have no choice but to talk about now. And it's not that we didn't want to talk about Kai and Shiba, but
You know, he looks really familiar. Maybe we changed the hair color a bit. I'm probably
uh
just thinking things.
yeah.
But apparently he knew Rukia back when she was not even a lieutenant.
Well, she's not a lieutenant now. He's a lieutenant of Squad 13.
Mm-hmm.
Her mentor. This is when they first met, and she's trying to introduce herself. She stammers, she's quiet, and Kyan can't stand that. You're a Soul Reaper now. You gotta, be loud and proud about it.
Yeah, he. It's not that he was trying to be rude to her, but he generally cares, and he seems
He's
to be
just,
trying to be reasonable here.
he's big brother, and now they get to re-meet and talk with each other. But it doesn't really work too well on Rukia. She's able to somewhat see through it, but emotionally wise,
Which managed to
he,
save her ass.
yeah, he does have all of Kyan's memories, including he helped Rukia learn her Shikai.
Mm-hmm. So,
And he has Kyan's Zanbakuto, raised across the seas and heavens, Nejibana.
and he gets a
It's a
trident.
it's a trident. He basically can create water and send tidal waves at people. Which, side note, that feels really inappropriate right now for what happened where I am. Yeah, my town got hit by Fiona.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, yeah, but the show must go on.
Yeah.
Everyone I know is
Fortunately,
okay.
yeah, fortunately, it seemed to be more property damage than it was,
I believe we may have had one casualty in town. I
which I'm
don't know
sorry
for
to hear,
sure.
but I'm just saying it just seemed to be more property damage than anything else, which
Yeah.
sucks, but I'm happy for it, if that
Side
makes any
note,
sense.
the Canadian federal government has agreed to match any donations to the Red Cross right now. So donate, please. We don't
Um,
need.
if you remember, M, send me a link. I can put that in the description.
I will do that. Yes,
But moving
but
on.
this is a pretty good fight for Rukia. It's really her best solo fight, and she gets to prove that she's not just stuck in place. She's been practicing
Mm-hmm.
since Kyan's
Now,
death.
don't ask me what the name of any of the moves she's using right now, because I do not know them off the top of my head.
That I'm pretty sure is Sokot Sweet. It's a flame keto spell. It's a pretty powerful one from what I remember.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember what this one is, but I do remember it puts him in a whoa.
You know, if that was a little wider, you could use a hula hoop. Maybe take off.
Yeah, she basically just keeps hitting him and hitting him with spells, rapid
Mm-hmm.
fire, and it's really badass.
Until he decides to stop playing around.
Yeah.
This is nightmare fuel.
Yep. Who else got with faces and terrifying you?
Oh, you mean like this?
Yeah, that's his true face. Yeah,
So he is
the
an
head.
interesting one.
Yeah, One head has a female voice, one head has a male voice.
Now, what makes him a lot more interesting that M has reminded me of is all of the Iran cart were made using,
The higher grades of Menos.
yeah,
The
Avastin
the
Lordos or
Agucha.
yes.
He is a Gillian, which the Gillians are those giant ones we showed in the first episode.
Hmm.
They're not supposed to be very smart.
Big guy that kicked Ichigo, yeah, he was one of those.
Hmm.
So
His
yeah,
unique ability, this is true for him, is if he eats another hollow, he gets all their powers and all their memories, including the hollow that, well, we'll get to that in a second.
yeah. So good news is Rukia wins.
Yeah, she wins by using a technique that she never showed Kai with her Zanpakuto. The bad news is she got impaled to do it.
I mean, she's got a chance of being survived. I mean, he's impaled through the head, so she wins.
Yeah. What happens is she has three dances with her sword. One to fire ice up, one to fire ice forward, and the third one repairs her sword instantaneously. So he broke her sword. She held up the broken hilt towards him. He's laughing. What are you gonna do with that? What are you gonna do with that? And the sword instantly freezes and materializes through his brain,
Yep, so she wins.
and then also freezes his body from the inside out.
So just a little more on Shiba.
Yeah, Kayan here is fighting the parasitic hollow that killed his wife. Uh, yeah,
Yeah, to be
that's
fair, I
pretty.
can't blame the man.
No, unfortunately for him, we said
It
parasitic
didn't end
hollow.
well.
No. And the only Reaper around that could stop him was Rukia. And this is one of the reasons why she is so protective of Ichigo. It's
Um,
also why she's so full of guilt and so full of self-doubt. To this day, she still blames herself for Kain's death, despite the fact that that was more of a mercy.
mm-hmm. Now you
So
see,
she didn't
yeah,
actually kill the hollow, unfortunately. It got away, and our friend there ate that hollow, copied all of its powers and Kayan's powers.
mm-hmm.
Hmm.
So if you think that him looking like Ichigo is not a coincidence, you're right. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
So now we
Uh,
get Byakuya showing up.
yeah, Byakuya just shows up. He gets sent by the head captain to go after the group because, oh, geez, they're going to cause more problems, aren't they?
It's like, God damn it,
And
did you let them go? Go get them back again.
this is the seventh Espada, Zomari. He shows up after the ninth is dead, sees Ruki on the ground going like, might as well finish her off. And Byakuya shows up going like, oh, you want to point your sword at my pride.
Yep.
Allow me to show you how deadly I am.
So then he decides to turn into this. Like, I can't even. I
God
have
damn it. Each
way
of
to
those,
ruin the tone.
yep, each of those yellow little things is an eye. He has the ability, anything he looks at with his eye, he can control it with that eye.
And just for reference, that's supposed to be a pumpkin.
It's pretty much a pumpkin, yeah. At least that's what everyone calls it.
Hey, Charlie Brown, I found your pumpkin.
So he can control things. So while he starts losing the fight, he takes control of Rukia's unconscious body, tries to have her slit her own throat. Byakuya uses the same spell she did a few minutes ago to stop Kayan, and she can't finish herself.
Yep.
Unfortunately, he starts trying to take Byakuya's body parts. Byakuya cuts his tendons. What what
Yeah.
is he? It's just a leg. He doesn't need a leg to kill this guy. It's just his wrist. He doesn't need a
So
wrist to kill this
he
guy.
just decides to do the smart thing.
He just has his Bankai. He doesn't need to move for his Bankai. And the guy is screaming, I can control anything I see. You don't have like a Julian eyes.
That's pretty much what all it is.
He
I
might
mean,
control maybe 50 of those petals.
to be fair, if he's smart, he would take the 50 and immediately go jab at Byakuya. But I think he's a little stunned about how many petals there are.
Plus, Bianca could just make a wall with another 100 to block those 50.
Well, I'm just saying, like, at least it'd be a smart try.
Yes.
So,
Instead, he tries once more to try and take control of Byakuya, who just creates a Keto spell. That's a wall.
pretty much saying, yeah, I could have just blocked that the entire time.
And this was not a fight.
Yeah,
This was
anything
a slaughter.
that is pretty much the mark that he has on there of anything he controls. That's the
Yeah,
mark.
if you see that mark, he has control of either that person or that thing. If he hits the head, he's got everything below the head. If he hits the hand, he has everything below the hand. So the digits and the hand itself.
So Bianchi just pretty much says, "Yeah, no, this is over.
You're you're out of targets with your eyes are already been used up. This fight's over.
Good night." Oh, hey, Pinky.
Meanwhile, as Reggie bumps into the eighth
And I'm
Espada.
just gonna say this like there. Anybody that carries a sword near this area right here like this, I generally just don't like in the show.
This is my least favorite of the Espada.
Like I get what they're going for with him, but that doesn't mean I have to
Yeah.
like him.
Sayaporo, I believe his name is.
Nah, you're probably
Mm,
better. Anyway,
mm.
so Reggie
Un-
gets to fight him.
Unfortunately, he's a mad scientist. He's been studying Renji and everyone else here and nullifies the Bankai. That's
Yeah,
Renji's.
that's bits of his Bankai flying everywhere.
Uh-huh.
So that's already a
Uh-huh.
bad sign.
Yep. I don't know if it's destroyed or just nullified, but Renji still tries to fight anyway.
I mean, in fair, he still's got a Shikai.
Yep.
All
Now,
right.
luckily for Renji, he does get back up in this fight, and
Mm-hmm.
the backup lets him really do some crazy things,
Oh, hello.
including wrapping himself up. Because if this guy's fast enough to dodge, well, dodge this. Because Renji's not the best at Keto. It's explosive
And he's insane enough to use it to his advantage.
at point fucking range.
Which, oh, by the way, Uryu's bow also neutralized.
Yeah, he's the backup for this fight. But because of Renji being a distraction, it lets him use a new technique he hasn't shown off yet, which Sayapuro doesn't have data on. By surrounding Sayapuro with his 5 Steady Sniders, he can pour liquid onto it. Special liquid he has congealed from different energy sources
Mm-hmm.
to
And
create
that's
a Quincy
also
Cross.
the Quincy Cross. If anybody's been paying attention.
Mm-hmm. Boom! This is one of my favorite
Oh,
techniques, but it's very unfortunately slow.
yeah.
It does some damage to him.
Sorry, I misclicked, but
No, that's fine. That's basically what I want to talk about. It does some damage, but it doesn't kill the eye,
yeah.
unfortunately, for our heroes.
Oh,
And
by the way,
the
these
worst,
guys over on the side here, I think, are just his assistants that are afraid of him. His fraction
yeah,
of. I would not want
they're
to work with this guy either.
he made them. Like he combined various hollows together to make them. He can then eat them to heal all the damage these two just worked their asses off to do.
Yeah, I really wouldn't want to work for him. So,
And then he has his resurrection, which he describes as the perfect resurrection.
yeah, this is already disturbing enough. He looks
Yeah,
like a wilting tree, which is already bad news anyway.
that is actually the design he's going for is a wilting or melting tree
Like,
because
I've
those
seen a tree that looks like this, but I forget what it was called.
yeah, he's based off that. I know what you're talking about.
But,
And he has various weird powers, including making clones, which the X's on the eyes are actually on purpose. He could make perfect 100% clones, but oh no, I want to change your style better. I want to make my aesthetic better. You guys are hideous, so these ones are better looking ones to use.
yeah, even the
So
hairstyle is really different.
yeah, unfortunately, he's not limited to making one clone at a time.
And he's
Oh,
got your full power. That's
yeah,
terrifying.
because he cannot turn them off. He can yeah. Now, luckily for these guys, a captain also comes to help them.
Here's a clue.
Unfortunately, unfortunately, that captain is full of poison.
So, can you guess who the captain was yet? I might be able to guess from the hilt.
Yeah, Mayuri shows up, and now it becomes a poison and toxin fight.
I will
This,
say this one thing about this fight. It's the only time I actually agree with Mayori.
mhm. He has
Perfection is a dream you chase as a scientist.
once you've obtained it, well, there's nothing else to obtain.
Yeah, all
And
imagination, all thought, all creation, right out the window.
yep, and Sayapuro really does come across as, well, I'm done. I don't need to experiment anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Which now, what I do like is the poison actually used to finish them off is a super soldier serum.
It's a senses enhancer, and he
Mhm.
enhances his senses so quickly, his brain has trouble keeping up. So everything to hit, well, actually, it's that he perceives everything so quickly that everything else is slowing down. So
Yep,
that sword, he pretty much gets stabbed. That sword to him is just inching and inching and inching. But his brain is focusing so fast, his body can't move to keep up.
yep. It's junk science in a sense, but it's really fun junk science.
But anyway, moving on.
Our reason for coming here for rescuing Orihime.
Now, this is interesting because the entire any time these two have interacted in the show, Olket's been trying to get a certain response out of Orihime, and every time he has failed to get the response that he wants out of her.
In fact, she's affecting his emotions more than anything else.
Mm-hmm.
He was
Now,
basically putting,
this is going to be a slight spoiler for next season, but because the groups are broken up so much, I will address it right now. If M could pull it up with the list, each of these 10 espadas represent a ideology of death.
yeah, an aspect of death.
Mm-hmm.
Okiora's is nihilism or emptiness.
Mm-hmm.
He often talks about the human heart as in not understanding if you could reach out and grab it.
Right.
Not that it's a thing. It has to be a physical thing to him, and he wants to be able to take it out and destroy it because to him, well, it's pointless.
Right.
He really wants to break Orihime, so when the friends show up to rescue her, he walks into her cell and says, "You've doomed your friends. They've come here to rescue you. They won't survive."
And he keeps trying to crush her heart, either physically or metaphysically, because it's what he understands.
And she has complete utter faith in her friends. She did this to protect them, but they came here to save her. So she's upset that what she did became pointless and they're endangering themselves. But at no point does she not believe that they can save her.
Mm-hmm.
And I respect her for that. Like, she wanted to do what she felt. She's the only thing she could save people at the time. Now it's not the time to worry about that.
Yeah. So Ichigo's made a new comeback with this.
Hmm.
Yeah, could have gone better.
Yeah. Okira basically does one shot him
You
since
know,
the.
this angle, it looks like he's trying to take his temperature from his armpit.
I got the impression he got his hand stuck in his pecs.
You're about as cold as death. So, meanwhile, Grimjaw decides he wants to do something.
He still wants a free match with Ichigo, so he busts Orihime out and murders her guards, which Orihime still tries to heal.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, Grimjaw doesn't care. You come
Yeah,
with Grimjaw now.
you're coming with me. So yeah. So
So
while Orihime's healing Ichigo from that near fatal wound, Grimjaw's distracting Okiura and traps him somewhere else.
it's sort of like
And
a timeout box for the Aron
yeah,
cars.
yeah. And before this fight happens, Ichigo requests his dear friend Orihime to heal Grimjaw first, so they have a completely even fight.
Aw.
And it's also just a cute image of these two. It's also a hilarious image of these two because Ichigo's a little bit banged up trying to rescue her later on, and she's worried she's too heavy. And his response is, "Well, you're not that heavy, even though I'm hurt."
I, I would love to see the face if he would have carried a bridal style, but he's got to carry his sword as well because he's got no sheath.
Yeah,
But could you
yeah.
see imagine how red she would have gotten?
Oh my God, yes, that would be adorable too. But yeah, Nell doesn't like that he calls her heavy in a sense. But anyway, let's get back to the real fight between these two.
Yeah, the real reason we're here for this arc half the time.
Yes, this is definitely in my top five fights
This
in the
is my
series.
number two
Mm, mm,
because I love my number two with Ichigo really for this arc
mhm.
because because he's the main character. Ichigo has probably the better fights of everyone, but not to disqualify like Chad or Uryu, but
Yeah,
the show
this
knows
is
who the main character is.
this is technically the highlight fight of the Hueco Mundo arc.
Mm-hmm. And it's not hard to see why when you watch the animation and just watch them go at it,
They bring out almost all the stops for this fight,
mm-hmm. Including
including
this.
including showing off new techniques, a forbidden Arankar technique called a Koranre Sero, where he mixes his blood with his energy, and it almost destroys all of Las Noches.
Yeah, there's a reason it's forbidden. Too bad he doesn't care anymore.
No.
And just for reference, Grinchow represents destruction on that ideology of death.
Yeah,
So this feels appropriate.
I mean, they kind of hinted that with Shinji's fight with him in the last season.
Yeah. So you might have been wondering what Grinchow was going to do in the last season.
Grind Pantera.
Hata.
Yeah, he's a panther. He's an apex predator.
Hmm.
And suddenly a lot of his actions and combat make more sense.
And I also like a lot like Ichigo. Unlike a lot of the other Espada we've seen so far, his is a lot more compressed.
Yeah, he didn't get bigger and goofier.
Yeah, he got a little bit bigger, but not by much.
Yeah. Also fabulous hair. So if he's gonna go full out,
Ichigo is as well. And I this may not be the appropriate one to go with this fight, but I love this image because it
mm-hmm,
shows off Ichigo's mask actually opening at the mouth.
mm-hmm,
It is a rare scene, but it's well done because it shows up until this time the mask has never moved. Anytime he's
mm-hmm.
talked, the mouth of the mask has stayed closed.
Still does, but for this one, for his battle cry, it it opens up, and this is the fight where Ichigo goes from I can control the mask for a few seconds to I'm breaking a mask.
Yeah, it really starts getting good here.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like a wild martial artist going up against a swordsman
Yeah,
because Gridjow tries to sway it with claws, his tail, his feet, claws. The
he has bladed on his arms. He has little rocket blades in his elbow.
He got
It's just
blades on his legs right there.
yep, and he still has his arrows. He can throw it out.
Now, this is what I image just for my own personal benefit because I'll say this: she's actually my favorite of the Espada.
That's his waifu.
But they're actually watching this fight, not interfering because they have no reason to.
No.
And she actually makes a reference that this is what it feels like when two Arankar go at it,
Mm-hmm.
which is really interesting considering the fact it's Ichigo.
Yeah, who's supposed to be a visor, but they're describing more as an Arancar.
So that's foreshadowing once again. Christ, we need a banner with that for the show.
Uh,
So you might have been wondering what these two have been doing. Well, they've been watching the fight, and
Nell's,
Orihime's unsettled by the mask.
yeah, she describes his energy as dark and heavy, and she's always been able to sense him no matter where. As soon as she got the ability to sense energy, she's always been able to pinpoint Ichigo out anywhere. He always feels the same. She describes it as his energy having a scent to it, which creepy.
That's a lot more information than we needed. Thanks.
Yeah, but it's not right now. It's dark, it's heavy, and it scares her a bit. But
Mm-hmm.
Nell is just screaming for Ichigo to win because she's worried for his safety, and she knows she believes he can win, and she's upset that Orihime is not
Right.
screaming for him because
And it having her be scared of him actually hurts Ichigo a little bit.
yeah, because he's here to rescue her, and he's worried that he's doing more harm than good.
So once Nell talks some sense into Orihime, and she pretty much says she believes in him.
Yeah, she just screams,
Yeah,
"Don't
yeah,
know!"
this is gonna be a short fight now.
Yeah, if you just the animation of when he grabs Grimjaw's hand in mid combat, the dust cloud. Oh, it's so beautiful.
Because she pretty much tells him not to get hurt anymore. He's like, okay, catch.
I'm not letting it get hurt anymore.
And this is one of the things that Ichigo, if you've watched the series, anytime Ichigo actually has any sort of belief in himself, he's at his best.
Yeah.
It's an
One,
emotional mindset.
yeah, he's a very emotional fighter. He's not a mature fighter yet, which is
Mm-hmm.
pretty evidenced by how he handles things and how he falls apart in certain fights. But when he's got the backing of his friends and the belief in himself,
He can do a lot of damage.
yep. Luckily for Grimjaw, he's a tough son of a bitch.
Yeah, but it's still not an easy win.
No, and as you can see, the mask is getting damaged, and the more damage the mask is, the less power it can give you. But because he's got Grimjaw so damaged, it's the fight stays pretty even, and
Mm-hmm.
it's
But Grim's not out of tricks just yet.
yes. I couldn't find the good images for it, but he creates these energy claws from his digits, and then he slashes down with them, and Ichigo cuts his way through them, flying up through the blades to give the finishing blow. But in typical shonen protagonist, he has to save the rival.
And then Ichigo gets the girls. Where'd that other one come from? Who
Like,
cares?
oh,
Who cares? But this guy shows up.
yeah, this is the fifth Espada, no Tiara.
He's a dick.
Yeah. Uh,
So, hmm.
no Tiara represents despair, as in, you know, breaking you down for your emotional sake.
Well, I'm not despairing at this image.
Yeah, it's alright.
So, this is Nell.
Yeah, she was the former third Espada.
Yeah.
Notiera, he, the crack in her helmet or her skull mask is from Notiera. He was always jealous of her rank and power, and she was always nice to him, and he hated that.
See, the weird thing is, when her mask cracked, she turned into a child.
It also gave her massive amnesia, but seeing Notiera kicking Ichigo around triggered something in the back of her mind, which allowed her to reawaken her true form.
So, she's gonna protect her protector.
Hmm. It's a pretty good fight. We
And
also get to
she's
see
got a
her.
resurrection, which
Hmm.
I kind of like it.
That lance hurts. It's a good throwing javelin.
Mm-hmm. Too bad it
Uh,
lasts real freaking long.
yeah, unfortunately for me, the emotional impact of having her take down this monster doesn't happen. On the
No,
plus
but
side, on the plus side, we probably get the second best fight of the
by the
Hueco
way,
Mundo
just
arc.
for reference, he's rank 5.
Yeah, and he fires from his tongue.
That's just
Those are
weird.
weird. Yeah,
But let's have a cooler fight.
yeah. Kenpachi shows up to save the day. Also, he kicks Ichigo around because Ichigo's beat up.
How much of a shit situation do you think things are in when you send Kenpachi to do something?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, they pretty much just go at each other.
Notrior keeps going on and on how he has the strongest armor of the Espada, which makes Kenpachi happy because that means the fight can last longer. If I
You
can't
said the
kill
wrong thing to the wrong person.
if I can't kill you, the fight could go on forever.
By the way, can't you even notice there's no hole in his chest?
Yeah,
So I wonder where that could be. Oh my god.
yeah. We find that out when after a while, Kenpachi gets kind of bored of hitting him and doing no damage. Like, well, if your skin is super hard, what about your eyeballs?
Slip? Huh. No wonder
Yeah,
his
so
brain did.
he puts the sword right all the way through Notora's head and through the eye patch, and he's like, "Oh, I won. That was lame." And then no,
I also love
shit
this
and
image
grin.
because you get a really good look in Kenpachi's Zanpakuto, and this thing is would shred skin.
I
This is
keep thinking,
ah.
I keep thinking anytime he cuts into you, the sword chips off more, leaving metal fragments in your blood.
You know what the funny thing is? If you ever watch a show called Rurouni Kenshin, not for everybody, there's a
Also,
character with a sword like that, but because of
screw.
the body fat covered on the blade, this when it hits something, it creates sparks from the jagged pieces and ignites the blade.
Mm, also, screw the creator of Rurouni Kenshin, though.
Mm.
That guy's a jerk and a creepo. Anywho,
Yep. So
Notora's
he says
resurrection
that.
is it's based off a praying mantis.
Yeah. By the way, Kenpachi's also taking off his eye patch at this point. We couldn't get a good
Well,
picture of that.
well, Notoyara tried to stab him in the eye with his hand, and they ripped the eye patch off. That didn't work out very well for Notoyara.
No, no, it didn't.
So he had to go resurrection
So yeah, he just grew an extra pair of arms, and
and an
then
extra
another
extra pair
extra.
of arms,
Yeah.
and they can grow scythes out of them. So Kenpachi's actually getting his ass pretty much handed to him this entire fight.
So Kenpachi admits he's never done any proper swordsmanship. He tried to learn and was
Yeah,
taught one thing: grip the
yeah.
sword with both hands.
So you do a push pull motion. I love Notoyara's reaction. That is the most basic sword shit ever. What are you talking
Basic my
about?
ass. And that's not any sort of key blast or anything like that. That's just him swinging the sword with both hands.
He had fun.
Like, I think Kenpachi's just sorry it's over because of this.
Yeah.
Like,
A- And Kenpachi's usual. Hey, that was fun.
all right.
Want to go again?
So let me just. And then we go back to Ichigo.
Hmm. After,
Give me just a moment because I have to. There we go. Okay.
yeah. So,
Yeah, I had so
um,
many tabs. I had to have two windows for this shit.
yeah. So a little bit behind the scenes stuff you might have seen. Anywho, during the whole Okiura, not Okiura, Noitora and Kapachi fight, another Espada picked up Orihime and ran after her, putting her in Okiura's charge again. And so
Mm-hmm.
Ichigo has to rush up and fight him. Luckily for Ichigo, every fight he has where he almost dies and gets strong, he gets stronger after being healed. Yes, he does get the Zenkai boost as Super Saiyan does, but apparently that's every Soul Reaper gets that.
Yeah, it's
That's
kind of like working out your muscles with them.
yeah,
But I guess the kind of explanation is that they're a body made out of Retsu,
yeah,
so
spiritual.
it's a bit more lenient with that.
Yeah, I don't mind it so much because it does lead to some pretty amazing fights, but it
Well,
does
the
lean
reason
power
I
skills
don't
a bit
mind it
weird.
with this one, it's not as abusive was when Gina was started first using it, and then it just kind of goes away.
Mm.
So it's a mixed bag, but I feel like here it's at least a forgivable mixed bag. Like it doesn't
Side note,
boost him up to the point where he's going to be beating everybody in his path.
side note, do you think Akira Toriyama dropped it because he felt it was unfair or forgot about Zenkai boosts?
Yes,
Mm.
that man is very forgetful.
I love him though.
Yeah. So Ichigo launches his Getsuga Tensho and actually manages to push Ulk back.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's just gonna dust himself off, get a new jacket. By the
Mm.
way, do you remember what number Ulk was?
Yeah.
Number 4.
Yeah, the Japanese word for death sounds a lot like four. So it's very fitting,
Yeah, I mean it's
especially
kind
when
of terrifying when you didn't even mess up the guy's makeup.
I mean that makeup is fabulous. Do you think that actually is makeup or his actual skin tone?
I want to pretend it's makeup just so you can say that you didn't fuss up my makeup.
Because all I can picture now is if it is his makeup, he makes Yami hold the mirror for him. Every day he gets up and spends like 2 hours on his makeup.
You know what it is? The makeup, the eyeshadow makeup is inside of the sheath of his sword. That's why the handle's green right there.
Mm-hmm.
That way, no matter where he is, if it's on a battlefield, he can fix it. So he releases his Zanbakuto, and he pretty much grows
Man,
bat wings.
I do not remember most of these resurrections, but this ends up leading to one of my favorite fights. I kind of like this one just a little bit more than the Grimjaw fight. And yes, technically most of this fight is from the next arc, but it just fit too well here.
Mm-hmm. Plus, it saves it a little time in the next arc, so I'm not going to complain too much.
Mm,
So they go at it. He creates kind of like a green energy spear thingy,
yep,
which is pretty much the power of a Cero confined into a spear.
yep.
That's terrifying.
Yeah, and as you can tell, he's got Ichigo on the back foot.
Yeah. And I can't tell, but there might be extra lines in the mask again.
Almost all red now on the left.
Oh,
Oh,
by
and
the way,
he has his own Cero technique, Cero Oscurus. It's pretty cool looking.
man, I wonder what they can do. Oh my god, that's big.
Ah,
Uh, I think that's Los Noches underneath them. Somewhere, if it's still standing. But yeah, Ichigo's losing this. M? M? You cut out. Hold on a second, guys. We're having a little bit of a technical issue, maybe. So just give us just a moment. Mother. Oh, okay, so yeah, the technical issue is on my side. So crap baskets. So we'll end it here with this image of Ichigo. We will start up next time because my internet's decided to be craptastic. So we will be picking up from here. Thanks for joining us. I'm Sold. That was M. We will pick up from here. Thanks, everyone.